Hello. Hi. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hi, chat. Hello. Happy Valentine's Day. Hi. Hi. I hope everyone who joins the stream later is having good time. I'm with a rose today. If you follow me on Twitter, you had saw it. So yeah, I later plan to record a message for Twitter for Valentine's Day, but yeah, today we're playing our third part of the series Our Life, and I can't wait to train my voice acting more. Yeah, so again I'm with my water to support my voice because I can't read for a long time for now. But yeah, time for gameplay. Let me open the game. Change the sounds. No BGM. Game sound on. And game on. I think that this is gonna be fine. Maybe my voice should be a bit higher. Yay! And move my OBS at the side. Nice. Continue. Last time we did the long beach day, which ended up kind of us breaking out. Not breaking out, but making ding dong ditch because our neighbors were kind of dickheads. I told you that we're gonna do this one, so I think we're gonna do this one today. I'm a bit tempted to buy DLCs, but currently I'm collecting. Money for better mic. So yeah. Actually, I want to check something. Oh my god. I had my karaoke VST on. I'm really sorry, people. Okay. I hope now it's better. Yay, time to fireflies. Alright, tonight we're going to catch fireflies. Wait, let me check. I just blown the declaration from your sister. You looked up from your macaroni and cheese dinner. Fireflies were a familiar sight over summer, coming out of warm nights to dance through the sky. The night was particularly balmy. You knew there were bound to be a ton of them around. Are you? Oh, you are? Are you? Let me see. Yeah, I think my voice is good. Okay. They hadn't answered for sure yet, but if that's what Lizzie said you'd do, that's probably what you'd end up doing. Jeez, I need to get in the groove of reading. Lizzie was an expert at getting her way, having mastered the art of it by the time she could talk. That's a good idea, Lizzie. Tell me, Miss Nerakami. Sheila tapped his fork against the table excitedly. His face lighted up as he looked at Lizzie. It was unusual for Shiloh to still be here. Like always, his mom had to bring him over really early in the morning before her job started. But normally she would pick him up by now. She called before dinner to let your moms know she will be late. You didn't hear why. Probably more work things. You thought maybe getting to hang out with Shiloh for longer is what made Lizzie want to keep running around outside. Staying at home and watching TV was never an option for her with guests over. That's why you were that's why you're pretty sure we should get you moms to agree. Well, it's already so dark out there. Lizzie gave Mom the best puppy dog eyes she could, slowly spooning mac and cheese into her mouth while you waited for their response. Let them go. Nights like this don't happen every day. Your parents exchanged a look, then Mom eventually sighed and nodded back. Yes! Fine. Just make sure you stay on the hill behind our house with all the puppies, okay? Duh, Mom. That's where most of them are. The idea had only just planted in your head, but already you could just picture all the glowing lights brought out in front of you, like the fireflies from the bedtime stories Mommy read sometimes. Lizzie and Sheila started digging into their food, and it soon became a race to see who will finish their dinner first.
Isn't that great?
Aren't we excited to go outside to play Zero? You gave a non-committal shrug. Zero is just mad 'cause I'll catch the most. Lizzie boasted proudly, her mouth full of food, and Mom gave her a stern look. Elizabeth? A knock on the door erupted Mom, before she could no doubt scold her sister. I'll get it. Your big sister jumped out of her seat and ran over to the door, pulling it open without even looking at the window to see who it was. Aww. You shifted into your seat to try to get a glimpse of the unexpected guest.
Hi.
Good morning, Cove. Your mommy had already walked to the door by the time you managed to see past Shiloh flap your hat. Cove? You had no idea why he was there all of a sudden, but you supposed it wasn't worth worrying over. Instead, your eyes landed on Lizzie, who was looking at Cove like he had come here specifically to ruin all her plans. Then, for a few seconds, Cove said nothing. He only stood there and looked up at your mommy with a face almost like he was considering turning around and leaving. My dad told me to drop this off 'cause I guess he borrowed it from you. Cove took a familiar screwdriver from out of his large side pocket. Eyes now dropped to the floor. We had ours back home when we moved. Great, thanks, bye.
Thank you.
Lizzie really doesn't like him. Because like they're polar opposites, like she's nice, kinda cute. And nice is not the right word, more like she's lively and he's kinda gloomy most of the time. Thank you. Here, why don't you come inside for a bit? Lizzie crossed her arms and lifted her chin. Cove shrugged and Mom stood from the table too. I'll give Dad a call to let him know you got here alright. Cove shuffled fully inside, Ace remaining on the ground. Mommy closed the door behind him. Hi, Cove. Chilo gave Cove a friendly smile while holding up his hand and opening and closing his fingers. Cove nodded in response. I know that if we suggest the fireflies, there are gonna be some, problems between them probably, since they have disagreements and so on stuff. But I want to include him, so yeah, I'm gonna say this. You could see Lizzie eyeing you for mentioning the excursion to an outsider, but you should get over it. If Cole said no, you'd understand though. Catching fireflies wasn't something that everyone liked to do.
Okay.
I want to see them. Yay! He started to join more. Nice. I've never caught one before. It's too bad he didn't have chance before now. Fireflies weren't out when he first moved in, and there must not have been anywhere he used to live. We can't go until after dinner. After she pointed this out, Lizzie walked back to the table and took her seat. There wasn't much left on her plate. Since this was very true, you decided to finish up your own stuff as well. Cole stepped closer and eyed what was on the menu for your family's meal. Have you eaten yet? Yeah, my dad and I ate earlier. What did you have? Eggs. The clipped one-word answer seemed to discourage Shiloh from asking any more questions. His eyes slowly wandered back to the last scrap of food in his plate. Her phone call with Cole's dad must have ended because your mom came back into the room.
Okay.
Cole, your dad said you can stay for a little while if you like, but he's going to come get you before it gets too much later. Sure.
Fun.
Oh, fun! This would be so nice. As you polished off the meal, you hoped it would be too. The three of you all finished eating shortly after, and Lizzie led the way aside. Remember, don't stray too far. It's fine, Mom. She trailed so closely after Lizzie he was nearly stepping on her heels. Cole hesitated at the door. Coming? After a moment he did.
Bye.
Bye, children. The two of you were a good 10 to 15 feet behind Lizzie and Shiloh. By the time you walked outside, you pushed the door shut behind you, watching their figures get farther and farther away. Hurry up! You're so slow, Zero. We don't have all night. You started to run when you heard Lizzie's voice calling you, but paused when you saw Cove still walking at a relaxed pace. Let's go! You gave him arm pull, but immediately recalled when he hissed. If you hurry, you'd accidentally grab his cast arm. You didn't thought about that. Sorry. It's fine, you took it by yourself. You couldn't help but feel bad as he rubbed his arm and rushed to look at you. But since it didn't seem like he wanted you there, you did what he said and hurried to the hill. I was thinking that the staying with him would be a better answer, but I kind of half by mistake clicked the grabbing his hand thing. There were already a lot of fireflies out, glowing, bobbing about like boys on a wave. Lizzie was standing on the top. Shiloh was spinning in circles somewhere around the middle. Where's Cove? You looked behind you, wondering if you upset him enough to send him home. But a second later, he rounded the corner, looking around at all the fireflies with interest. Wow! Shiloh looked at the moment to come over and welcome both of you to the hill. Hi guys, it's really great you, huh? See how many there are? Yeah. A firefly danced through the air, landing on Cove's sea-green head. Shiloh couldn't help but giggle. You and Shiloh couldn't help but giggle. covering your mouth with a hand. Uh, the sound escaped you, and Cove looked at you in confusion. What? You gestured to his head, and he reached up, making the firefly dart away. Cove jumped, then followed after the wall. Oh, look, Lizzie. Lizzie has won. That's amazing. She'll run to the last point to the hill, making sure not to lose his hat or backpack along the way. You comment as the ground divided and concaved, shifting your gaze to the dozens of other fireflies sailing around. The game was on. You had a bandage on your thumb and you tried to caution on that. You had a bunch on your palm and you tried to caution on that. You had a bunch on your hand and you tried to caution on that. You're good at not getting cuts or scratches. Okay. Spotting one close by, you approached it with assassin-like stealth, crouching down to make yourself seem like less of a threat. Slowly dragging one foot in front of the other, you crept up towards it, arms outstretched. You closed your hands around the little glowing orb, careful not to crush it. The firefly landed on your palm, almost docile, and you stared down at your prize in delight. Its tiny legs tickled your skin, and you giggled at the sensation. Cove kept up with his own target, but when he tried to grab his pink cast, waved awkwardly through the air, foiling his efforts to clap his hands around the firefly. Water time. Cove watched it vanish into thin air with a dissatisfied expression on his face. You encouraged him to try again. You told him about the firefly you had joke about what happened. You did your own thing. You get the next one. Cove didn't say anything, and you thought he must be upset. He walked further up the hill to continue his hunt, and you let your own firefly flutter back into the air. That was fine. You had your own plans. You quietly took a seat amongst the flowers. The others were jumping and dashing all about. You saw how many times they succeeded and failed. Actually, almost tripped a couple times. It was a dramatic show. Though around you it was calm, the light of the stars and fireflies surrounded you peacefully. It was a beautiful night. You laughed quietly to yourself as you watched the others, until finally managed to catch a firefly between his small hands. His eyes lit up, and when he spread his fingers to take a peek at it, the book escaped and flew into the air. Oh! You watched as he paused after it once more, but your eyes soon landed on Cove, who had failed to catch a firefly yet. You can do it, Cove. Oh no, for some reason it crashed. No, it crashed. My game crashed. And I didn't save. No, I don't know why it crashed. No. Let me see if it's gonna open up. Why it crashed? I didn't do anything. What? Oh no. Let me move to South Sudan part why I'm trying to fix this. I don't understand why it crashed. Okay. No, the whole Fireflies section is gone, like I haven't played it. Oh no. I'm gonna open it and just skim through it fast to the part we were, and I'm not gonna read. I don't know why it crashed out of nowhere. Okay. That was weird.
Right.
Yep. Um, I'm gonna try my best to repeat the same answers I gave before and also save. That was so bad. Why it crashed out of nowhere?
There. Fine. Duh. Isn't that great?
Okay. Come on.
Huh?
It's good that we weren't that further in the game. My
Right.
reading is kinda slow, so we actually weren't
Thank you.
that farther away.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay.
Come on. Faster. People don't have all day.
Okay. Fun. Bye. Hurry up!
Okay. Despite this being the wrong answer, so to speak, I'm gonna choose it again since I want the first gameplay to be fully without me retracing my steps. Like, to make better answer. Come on, almost there. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh shit, I didn't so. Oh, I chose another thing, but I'm not gonna load again. I'm just gonna save actually. Save. Yep. In case something like this happened again. So since this is part that I didn't read first time because I chose by mistake different answer, I'm gonna start reading again. Yay, we're back at it. Hello, little bug. The firefly didn't say hello back. No, you didn't expect it to. Okay. So we came back to the part with sitting in the grass. Okay. Okay, you cheered him on. That was the brilliant. Oh god, he's so cute. Okay. Cole smiled at you for just a moment before returning to the firefly he had been trailing with renewed enthusiasm. Well, Cove returned to hunting fireflies. You settled for lying back against the soft grass, watching the poppies swaying around you, and the fireflies hovering against the vast sky.
Come on!
Zero, Cove! Get up! Here, we're gonna have a race. The shouting caught you off guard. It had been quite a while since you heard from Lizzie or Shiloh. You glanced over to see them both standing on top of the hill again, Lizzie beckoning to you with quick hand gestures. If she was like that, you knew there wasn't much room for disagreement. Up the incline you went. From the corner of your eye, you saw Cove was coming as well. He didn't care for Lizzie a lot, so you thought he might be intrigued just by the idea of the race. Hi!
Cove!
Hey, Cove! You couldn't throw down the hill, you could hurt your arm again. You'll be the referee for the rest of us. As Lizzie pointed this out, Cove froze in place. Oh, it was that kind of race. He frowned down at his cast. That was the second time it got in the way tonight. What? Yeah, you watch and see who gets to the bottom of first. That's important. Got it? I guess. The cast was sturdy. If he was careful, he could have done it. Lizzie might have just been looking for a reason to make someone else the referee. But it's already decided. Water time. For the people who probably gonna watch this as a VOD, don't forget to drink water, please. Water is important, even I, the person that dislike water. Let me save this in case, because I'm seeing stuff loading on my screen and I don't want to lose stuff. Okay. My PC decided to make cleaning while I'm streaming, which is not the best time. Yeah. Really? Why? You don't have to. It's okay, I want to watch. You moved beside him on top of the hill, even though Lizzie eyed you and made a face. That's not how a race works. We only need one referee. Shrugging your shoulders, you refuse to budge, and Lizzie let out a hope before throwing her hands in the air. Fine. I'll be the winner whatever you join or not. Lizzie moved to lay down, and Shiloh did the same. Cove stood slightly to the side to get a better vantage point, and you stood next to him. Down. Cove stood up a little straighter. It seemed like he was taking his newfound referee duty seriously. 3, 2, 1, go! Lizzie and Shiloh took off, letting gravity do the work and rolling high speed towards the bottom of the hill. You and Cove leaned forward to watch them go. Abe peeled for which of the two would reach the bottom first. They were both neck and neck until about halfway down the hill, Lizzie started to veer off on side, giving Shiloh a huge advantage. She obviously hadn't noticed a thing, and as soon as Shiloh reached the bottom of the hill, he jumped up excitedly and threw his hands in the air. I won! Almost immediately, he fell back onto the grass, still dizzy from his roll down the hill. Lizzie stomped out of the bush she had ended up in, spluttering angrily and brushing leaves from front of her dress. Not bad, you got lucky. Let's do it again and see who wins for real. Kids, it's time to come in. No. You snickered. Feeling grateful you hadn't been part of the mini debacle, you called Cove's eyes and saw that he was doing the same. You had gotten late and was beginning to feel just a bit chilly as you made your way out of the hills, but the cold in the air hadn't damped anyone's spirits. The four of you walked back home together, side by side down your neighborhood street, discussing the evening, with each person trying to prove that they were the one who caught the most fireflies. You knew that whoever really did catch the most didn't matter much anyway. All the matter was that you all had a good time, which, judging by the smiles on everyone's faces, you did. Oh, that was way shorter than the last one. The last one took me like 1 hour, or maybe I got faster at the reading. Okay, let's get another one. I expected to read one per stream because I don't think I can voice act for more than 1 hour, hour and a half, but Depending on how long the sandcastle one is, we may end up reading the full sandcastle and grown up till the end of summer part. And I am gonna save again, just in case. Okay. It's good that they give so much space for people to basically save. Cove wasn't able to do many things that summer. When you, him, and Shiloh sat out of the shoreline at the bright morning, you could tell he wanted to be in the water, but there was no way he'd be swimming anytime soon, not with that cast. The waves washed a single shell to the shore, glittering and blue, another reminder of the places he couldn't go. From what you heard about Cove's old life so far, in tiny pieces and fragments, you could tell that he'd do anything to be able to get cast off. Like, make a pact with witch or something, just to get it off his arm. You thought about how his summer last year must have been totally different from this, with his old home and his mom and dad. But now he was here, with you and Shiloh, and Lizzie and everyone else, and he couldn't even go into the sea. This town wasn't bad. It had all of your favorite things in it, but sitting here on the same beach you've grown up on, you could understand that not everybody else felt the same way about Sunset Bird as you did. What a time. You watched him from the corner of your eyes quietly, and he finally said aloud what you had been pondering. I wish I could go in. The water? Yeah. Sorry, you're gonna be able to do it soon. Both only cited in response. Apparently soon wasn't soon enough. It's so pretty, the ocean. And huge. There could be anything out there, like mermaids.
Yeah.
Yay! Me too. Obviously not interested in hearing much more on your input on the situation, Cove turned back to the water. But as he looked away, something about Shiloh's slow, careful movement caught his eye. Hey, are you building a sandcastle? Sort of. I was only playing around while you were talking. I am listening. Maybe I could too. I've only made big piles before. It's really nothing special. I'm sure you're good at it right away. Well, how do you do it, then? Shiloh's cheeks lit up. You could tell he was little a bit uncomfortable to have Cove's expectant stare on him. I'll play too. It's good. I think, although they are kind of different, they can understand each other with time. I think the hardest person to understand would be Lizzie, since she's a bit older, but also totally opposite of the vibe of everybody else, which is why I think Shiloh is so drawn to her. Though the last time when we visited the story, it had the impression that he maybe just goes around her for something else and actually doesn't like her, which is gonna be interesting if it turns out to be the case. Okay. He put hands back to his seashells and sand and nodded. I don't do a lot. Here's how I like to get a house started. Shiloh, focusing more intensely than you'd ever seen him, guided Cove through his process. You happily used your own method. didn't take long for the three of you to each have humble structures prepared. That's all, kind of. You could do anything now, like make it bigger, add some seashells, cave a pretty pattern. I bet you great ideas.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it bigger. Mine is gonna be a real castle.
Cool.
Oh, this is gonna be a house. Looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decided to make. I had tried before, but I'm not very good at it, so maybe house. Though I know that the proper answer is probably be a castle to agree with him, but looking at the base of your sandcastle, you decide to make a normal house. The better part of the next house was spent focusing. The better part of the next hour was spent focusing on your own work. The boys were the same. Even Shlo didn't sneak as many peeks at everyone else as he usually did. You finished shaping before either of them did, glancing up from what you built. It seems you got done so fast because they already searched around for extra decorations. Sheila had grabbed most of the really interesting stuff. Cove had a lot of shells, but there were still options. The first thing you reached was blue seashell. It was the best fit for your house, you decided. The blue coral color of it still reminded you of the clear water, so you put in a funny place where take a second to look to see it. Pleased with your result, you finally took a proper look around that wasn't focused on the sun itself. Both Cove and Silo seemed super immersed still. You knew you could probably sneak a peek at each one's work. The castle Cove had built looked surprisingly tidy, especially for someone in a cast. He must have worked really hard. It wasn't even finished digging the huge, gaping moat in front, but it was already enormous. You got the sense from the enthusiasm he was digging with that the doctor was probably going to find a bunch of sand when he finally removed the pink plaster. The silence was then broken. What's on top of yours, Shiloh? You peeked closer and discovered something shiny sticking out of Shiloh's sand chimney. Oh, it's just gum wrapper. It looked like a smoke.
Neat.
It's good. That's smart. I'm happy that they start to get to know each other. Like, it's really nice. Since both of them are kind of quiet kids, it's nice to see them understand each other. You really know a lot about this. Sheila smiled without a word. And that was for the current topic. Zero, can I see what you did? Sure. He began surveying your work. You'd built a comfortable little house with a tree in front. Oh jeez, I clicked by mistake. Look. You built a comfortable little house with a tree in front yard. The tree would have been hard to keep standing up by itself, but it turned out pretty well. Okay. Let's save in case something happens. Slow quickly decided to jump in the new conversation. Hey, Zero, what did you do? This is my house. I built a house too. That's so neat. No one else has a castle. Yeah, it's just you. Both praised and Datas thought it was a point of pride. Shiloh sing-songingly tone gave the impression of something else. You weren't quite sure. Cove's confused face meant he must have also felt it was strange. This is the second time it's mentioned that Shiloh says stuff in very like it's he says things that are supposed to be nice or do things that are supposed to be nice, but the overall feeling is kind of off-putting for some reason. So we'll see. Maybe something's gonna happen. I'm interested to see what's gonna happen when they grow up a bit, because they're still kids, so it's not that kids can't be malicious, but again, something that I really like about these stories, that the kids are not flat. Like they're complex even from such a young age, which is basically what happens to actual people. There's nothing wrong with doing something different, you thought. Maybe Sheila didn't feel the same way. If something is the only one of a thing, that makes it special. Yeah, for a sandcastle and stuff. People do. My dad always says how everybody is their own man, a real individual. I don't think I'm very special.
Why?
Why not? Nobody else is you. It's so funny. Given that Cove is kinda self-conscious and sad kid most of the time, but he sees things kinda maturely, while Sulu is probably maybe was bullied because he's a bit quirky kid. Quirky is not the right word, but you know. So yeah. Also, I think that I need to be a bit bigger because I'm kind of losing my. Here probably is better. Yay. But yeah. Shiloh smiley shook his head. I'm not different. A bit passed between the two. Covden looked down at his own work again. Okay. He didn't seem to be bothered leaving the disagreement hanging there. Cove had other things on his mind. My dad tried to get me to make sandcastles the first time we came to this beach. I didn't want to. Cove trailed off again. There was another moment of silence. Shiloh shifted and opened his mouth to say something, but Cove spoke up before he could. You didn't think he noticed as Shiloh was going to talk. Hey, do you know what happened when your moms met my dad, Zero? You waited to see if Shiloh would say what he wanted to. When he didn't, you considered Cove's question. I wasn't there. They didn't tell me. I just remember what happened when I met you, your dad. Mr. Holden had been a weird stranger then. Well, he was still kind of strange. No other parent acted like him, but you knew him better at this point. Now that you thought about it, it made a lot of sense that Cove's dad talked to him about people being unique. You were pulled from your thoughts when Cove continued. Well, I was there. I don't think my mom has met your dad. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she hasn't. Zero's parents and my dad met the same day I met them. I'm gonna say what happened. Shiloh frowned to himself, ducking his head. His hat cast a shadow over his face. You could still tell he was upset on not being included in Cove's choice of topic. That was kind of boring for him, though giving people their own turn to say the things they want is important too. I think, I don't want to upset Shiloh, but at the same time, I think in this case we should let Cove speak first. I hope it's not really detrimental. I hope. Shiloh could talk about stuff after Kov had a chance to share what he planned on. When we moved here, we didn't bring a lot of things with us, only some stuff that would fit Dad's car. We didn't even get moving truck. I sat in there while Dad brought the dough inside. I didn't want to get out because I knew that would make me look around the new house. I really didn't want to do that. His lips twisted into a frown as he recalled that. Then I saw your moms. They were in the car too and stopped at your house. I guess they were coming back from somewhere or something. My dad noticed. He waved his hand, then went over to the front of your house where he started talking to them. I don't know what they said, I couldn't hear it. But he couldn't see me anymore since he was looking the other way. So I opened the car door and left. I wanted to get away and went behind the houses. I found the hue here. The ones where we met for the first time. Cove nodded, then stared at you. You stared back. He didn't go on to say anything when he was. Aren't you going to finish the story? Cove's brow wrinkled, like he didn't understand why you were surprised.
Huh?
Oh, he's shy. Oh, that's so cute. He's shy. Because, we saw him cry. When we first met, he was crying because he had to leave his mom. That's all that happened. To be fair, all of the answers feel kind of awkward. All of the answers feel kind of awkward to me. So maybe... Okay. What is it? What? You said that in a weird way. I don't think I did. Kov narrowed his eyes at you, suspicious. Shiloh's mouth twisted into a squall in disbelief, but he didn't say nothing. Oh my god, that's the first time I'm seeing him make that face. What? Okay, that's not okay. He looks annoyed as fuck. Oh no. No, he looks so annoyed. It's bad. Yo, that's so bad. No. Let me move a bit my chair because and get a sip of water. But yeah, that's the most disturbed face I had seen him make. What? Why'd you bring it up anyway? That was a slight shrug of Cole's shoulders.
Well,
I was thinking about it because of the sandcastle. It made me remember when I moved on to here. Dad showed me the beach first before we went back to the car to unpack. He was really excited about it for some reason. Cole's brow furrowed a little more as he quietly ran his hand through the sand. I get it. You thought maybe Mr. Holden wasn't that excited about the beach and was instead hoping Cole might be. But the line of conversation had come to its end. Even Cole was done with it. Some other topic had popped in his head. Shiloh, fidgeting uncomfortably in the sand, had made Cole aware of his presence again. They looked at each other and you could only wonder what this might be about. Hey, Shiloh. Yeah? Why aren't you turning so red? Even when nothing is happening. Clearly startled, he jerked back. Neither you or Shiloh had expected that to be how he got included in the conversation again. I don't know, I guess. Okay, it's kind of weird. Shiloh's eyes were wide with embarrassment and his lips twisted, and he was blushing even harder than before. Maybe it wasn't only this, perhaps it was simply the last straw, but it was a big deal to Shiloh. A huge deal. He didn't just look sad, he seemed almost panicked. You weren't sure if he was about to cry or run away or what, but soon you got the answer. Why do you wear glasses? Most kids don't wear glasses, and nobody is named Cove. Oh no. And the tension finally reached this point. Oh, that's bad.
Who asked you to come?
Who asked you to come? It was probably just your dad putting Zero's family some more, cause you don't have anyone else who ever play with you. Cove blinked. The tension on the beach was suddenly uncomfortable in a way you didn't know how to laugh off. It didn't seem like the kind of thing he'd get upset about. Do you even know what kind of thing would bother Shiloh? I'm sorry. Me too. I was just wondering. You picked up some sand and turned it over in your hands. There didn't seem to be much you could do to stop the fight, and you weren't sure what to do with yourself. Cove looked over what you were doing and started building his own set of wolves. Shiloh took a breath before kneeling back down to his own patch of sand. It seemed they both decided to try play again. You were glad for that. You all went back to making more sand buildings, but the whole mood had changed. Shiloh's cheeriness was clearly gone, and Cove looked as confused as ever about why the other boy had blown up. The air stayed uncomfortable the rest of the afternoon, right up to the moment of Shiloh's moms appeared on the beach to take him home. Cove and Shiloh had mostly followed your lead and barely said a word. His mom standing behind him, even Shiloh's goodbye had been quiet, friendly, cheerful, but noticeably quiet. But with Shiloh gone and the sun going down, you knew it was time for you and Cove to hit your own houses. The two of you trailed out of the park together towards the neighborhood. The walk home was quiet. You passed by familiar landmarks, shoes thumping against the sidewalk in near perfect unison. Cove clearly caught up in thinking about something. Something was definitely up, so you chose to reach out to him and ask, "Hey Cove, is everything okay? You're making a funny face." Oh, I was just wondering. Cove fell silent again for a few more seconds, then cited. Why should I act like that when I said he was overread a lot? I wasn't. It sounded weird to me. I didn't mean to. I guess I can't get it why he would do that. Sometimes I get really mad too. Despite seemingly coming to a conclusion, Cole's mood was still sour. What Shiloh said didn't make sense anyway. Parents always talk to other parents and set up stuff so their kids play together. My dad didn't do anything weird. You struggled to not make a face at that. His dad definitely did something weird to try and get you to spend time with Cove, but Cove didn't know that. Yeah, at some point, like when the game started, we first met his dad, and his dad basically was like, "I'm gonna give you $20 to stay with my kid," which we declined, but yeah. I think that he may decide not to stay with us if we... But this sounds kind of suspicious too. Yeah, I think this is the best. Cole's shoulders relaxed. You hadn't even noticed that he had tensed up. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Anyway, I knew that all the time Sheila shouldn't have been saying things like that. You nodded, but you didn't speak. You kept your eyes firmly on the ground. By now, the two of you were on the sidewalk near your houses. It was time to part ways. Bye, Cove. Your parents hadn't planned anything else for you. Though you knew that you'd see him eventually. Cove nodded, already turning away. Bye, Zero. You made your way to your house at a leisurely pace, going up the driveway to get to the front door. Before you went inside, you looked back. Cove was halfway to his house, his hands shot in his pockets. You still felt a little unsure with what you're supposed to do about the deal Cove's dad had offered. You didn't want to say something bad or something you shouldn't. You might change your mind sometime. There was always tomorrow after all, but for now, it was definitely something that you kept to yourself. With a final look, you went inside your house. Yay, we got it. So as I was planning, we're gonna finish this too. Let's save up, drink a bit of water, and we're continuing. We saved, right? Okay. One sweatery summer day, you were in your living room with Cove, listening to sounds of birds chattering outside the window while you lay across the rug on the floor. Cove's dad had dropped him off earlier, and your mom had left two of you, along with Lizzie, to play amongst yourselves. It had been too hot to go outside in the afternoon, at least according to Mommy's. So your sister was starting to get impatient, waiting for her golf class that evening. The three of you had trouble finding something fun to do. The beach and the playground were off limits, and you felt that it was too warm for anything like playing with your fuzzy toy animals. Then suddenly a light came to Lizzie's big brown eyes, and her smile spread wide across her face. Having an idea gave her a new wave of energy. Since we're stuck inside, we should have been adults. They don't play outdoors anyway. They're always inside and telling everybody they're too busy to play. Wow, the shade. The shade. The absolute shade, okay?
Why? Duh.
I said why, and it will be fun. Duh. What do they do inside? What do they do inside that we don't, besides use the phone a lot? Excluding a small huff, Lizzie decides to ignore Cove. Zero, what do you think? Do you want to? Yes. Come on, neither of you have had one single idea all day. You could tell that Lizzie wasn't about to give in anytime soon. Fine. With her victory against Coves under her belt, Lizzie turned to you, triumphant. It's not gonna be, I guarantee. Lizzie seemed more determined than ever, and you could only sigh. Satisfied that neither of you were about to bail on her, Lizzie thought over her options while you watched. After a few seconds, she clapped her hands together and beamed, apparently having settled on something without asking either of you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna be professional golfer. Zero year golf can be a beach volleyball player, a gymnastist, or a tennis player. Why can't we pick anything we want? Because I have a fun idea, that's why. And we have to play sports as adults. Yep. But there's other kinds of sports too.
Right?
It isn't the same. What do you think, Zero? Don't those choices sound super cool? You wanna be that, huh? I don't know what idea she has, so we're gonna see. Lizzie turned the scroll she started practicing just for calls towards you. Practically radiating frustration, and you shrank back down. You'd already said you were going to play, so you knew you might as well pick one. Cole was not impressed with Lizzie's attitude, though he didn't bother talking more about it for now. You thought over the list of possibilities: beach volleyball, gymnastics, and tennis. Out of all of them you prefer to play? The only one that kinda goes with me is beach volleyball, so we're gonna go beach volleyball. If you couldn't spend the afternoon at the beach for real, then you might as well pretend you were there. They couldn't even wear a swimsuit to make it seem more realistic. You could have even worn a swimsuit to make it more realistic. Okay. Water time. Although Lizzie probably wouldn't let you run off until that now that she had you here. Yes, that was clearly the top option. Okay, I'm gonna be a volleyball player. Alright! How about you, Cole? I was going to pick volleyball. Lizzie threw her hands in the air, making a noise sound. You guys can't be the same thing. That's not how it works. You didn't say that. The rule was speaking from the list. You can't add in more. Lizzie looked at the two of you, then shook her head, resigned to losing this battle but not the war. Fine, you're both volleyball players, but you're on the same team because there's only one. Lizzie ponytail bobbed when she proudly stretched her arms wide. The Olympic team. What? We're Olympic athletes who just competed in the Olympics. Cove didn't seem all that impressed with the announcement. He made the face and adjusted the glasses on his nose. That's really specific.
Rude.
That's what makes it fun, anyway. Lizzie marched back and forth in front of both of you, getting lost in her own imagination. I won all the medals, and people are calling me the next Mikey, right? Who is that? Lizzie stopped at the spot and turned on him, her brown eyes shining with impatience. It doesn't matter if you know who she is. It's a golf thing. You guys won medals too. Your team placed at silver. It's more real if you're not our first place. It's so funny how she wants always to be first. As I said before, the dynamics are kind of weird. Not weird, but the better answer is complicated. It's not that kids are not complicated, but in games you don't see kids that have complex identities before. Unless it's a high school story, you rarely see kids that are not straightforward and have more than one reason for what they're doing. Yeah, I think that silence is good. You stayed silent and looked at your hands. Next to you, Cove leaned towards Lizzie with a frown.
Sorry.
Lots of people lose at the Olympics Games the breaks. Then you're the one who did, not me. Lisa looked taken aback by Cove's declaration, as though the thought of her losing was completely absurd. No way! It wouldn't make sense. I'm already practicing my golf game. She looked at golfing stance. She took golfing stance to make her point, pretending to swing her club and hit an invisible ball. So what kind of house do you want to live in? Cove didn't change his mind about the winning, but thinking about where he lived as an adult appealed to him, apparently because he looked back at Lizzie with some of the anger fading. I'm going to live on the beach. Lizzie made a face to him, poking on her tongue. That's kind of boring, we already have that. No, not like normal houses here with the street on it, right on the sand, by the water. Just like that, all the tension was back. You hadn't even had a chance to choose where you wanted to live. That's not very fun or smart, Cove. You can't live on beach of sand and shells. But I want to, and I will. Cove narrowed his eyes at Lizzie, even though she stood half a head taller than him. You didn't give out a list of things to pick up from this time, so I'm picking that. Why are we even playing pretend if we can't imagine anything? I don't agree with him. Jeez, well, I'm gonna live in a mansion, far away from here and far away from you. One with an indoor pool and a place to practice my award-winning golfing.
It's not fair.
How come you're yelling about mine when your idea is even more impossible? Lizzie's face pushed red, her hands bailing into fists at her sides. It's not impossible, it's better than yours. Disagreement always seems to crop up when the two of them were together, and you always felt like you were stuck in the middle. But when it came to the topic at hand, this time you thought, yeah, I actually really agree that the beach would be better. I'm not pretentious, like I don't need big space. Who would want to live on the beach? It'd be really great. You could have a windows made from driftwood and chisels when and I can speak, and seashell wind chimes. Cove granted you a small nod. Granted you a small nod. I can't read. Which was a rare amount of acknowledgement from him. You didn't think it was that big deal. You can swim whatever you want if you live on the beach. We can swim anytime we want from where we live now. Being a little closer doesn't mean a thing. Says you. The two of them scolded at each other. You're being so unreasonable. I don't get what you want. This game doesn't make sense. It does. You have to be realistic. I said that. But you're not. You had no idea what to do to make them stop at this point. It seemed like the two of them would just keep working each other up as long as they could. Nothing you'd said so far had kept them from being mad. Thankfully, like a greeting card angel, Mom walked into the room. Lizzie rushed to her, hanging onto her on her shirt and poking out her tongue at Cove. Lizzie, Zero, it's time to get ready to go.
You alright with that?
Sorry, I have to leave already, Cove. Dear Mommy said she'll walk you home, so you won't be left in the cold. Cove was still glaring at Lizzie, his face flushed red with anger. I can go by myself. But without giving Mom a chance to stop him, Cove stood up and stalked out of the room, shoulders drawn tight. Okay. Worried, Mom looked down at you and Lizzie. You two were playing nice on your new friend, weren't you? I'm not a snitch in general, but in this case it was kind of provoked by her. We were playing pretend and this got intense. They were like cats and dogs. Your sister jaw dropped, looked betrayed, as Mom put both hands over her hips. Elizabeth, I told you to be kind to him. He's having a hard time right now. Lizzie's mouth closed back up, replaced by a tiny frown. I know, I tried, but he was...
That's enough.
No buts. We both know you can show someone a great time when you put your minds to it. We're going to apologize to Cove and his dad over the phone when he gets home from work tonight. Lizzie hung her head, dragging her foot across the ground in front of her. Okay, Mom. Good girl. The cold pieces of Lizzie soaking to herself about how it was his fault too, but it was over. Right, we better get moving on.
Let's go.
Let's go, kids. Lynn, where did you leave the car keys? Mom hustled you out to the door and you noticed during the car ride to golf practice that Lizzie was quieter than usual. She was usually the first one to request which music to listen to in the car, but she didn't say a thing. Your parents noticed she wasn't in the mood to be bothered. They gave her space and Mommy just asked you, what do you like to listen to? Yeah, indirect way of cheering her up. You were happy to see it brighten her up right away, and she started singing along with you. Soon enough, her bad mood was a thing of the past. When the car ride was over, you spent the twilight hour watching Lizzie hit things with other girls her age. You did not know much about golf, but you could tell that she really liked it. So you sat with your mom and tried to puzzle it out. It was nice sitting outside after being cooped up in the house all day, and you stretched out your legs to let the last few minutes of sun warm your skin. When the sun was finally out of sight, dipping behind the horizon, you all got ready to leave. Instead of going straight home, your mom took you family out to a dinner. You went to a restaurant you had all been going to ever since you could remember. The whole afternoon had been a bunch of shouting you hadn't been able to stop, but you could kind of tell that all happened. Though this helped Lizzie be less angry. The car ride home was quiet, with only the radio proving escape from the silence. Lizzie had been in the better spirits now, but the closer you got to your neighborhood, the more she wiggled in her seat and frowned out of the window. She knew what was coming when you all got back home. Clearly, she was dreading it. Soon enough, Mom was turning onto your street, then revising into the driveway. Once you cut the ignition, it was dead silent. No one spoke, only unbuckled their seatbelts and opened the doors. Lizzie was the last one out. Once everyone was inside and done taking off their shoes, she popped her hands on her hips.
So,
Now then, Mr. Holden car is in his driveway, so he should be back from work. That's good news, isn't it, Elizabeth? You and Cove can hash things out before the day's done. Lizzie didn't complain or put up a fight. Her head ducked so she didn't have to meet anyone says. She nodded once. Good. Let's move this to the kitchen. Mom went over the house phone. The rest of you followed behind her. Mommy put a gentle hand on Lizzie's shoulder as they walked side by side. You watched them from the back. This was only happening because you thought on Lizzie. You could still remember the look on Lizzie's face. There was no doubt she felt the way about it. You and your sister didn't always get along, but you cared about each other. This wouldn't change that, you thought. Oh, this sounds like foreshadowing. This sounds like foreshadowing for the future. Because people remember things, but then I did at the same time I think that's the right thing that we thought. The four of you stood around the kitchen in a lopsided square. All eyes were on Lizzie, who kept her gaze on her feet. You remember the number for Cole's house, don't you, honey? Lizzie jerked her head in another nod, sullen. Without further prompting, she stepped forward and she began to dial. Oh my god, that's when they used the phone. Mom reached over and pressed the button on the base. Suddenly you could hear the phone ringing. She turned off the speaker. The phone rang a couple of times, then stopped. Mr. Holden's warm voice came through the other side. Evening, Holden residence. Lizzie looked over to Mommy, unsure. She nodded encouragingly. Hi, Mr. Holden. It's Lizzie. Can I talk to Cove?
Absolutely.
Listener Kami? What a surprise! But of course you can talk. You can say hi to the boy. He sounded cheery, as usual, but definitely meant it when he said it was a surprise. You thought hard, and you were sure that your sister had never called Cove's house before. Mom spoke up before Mr. Holden or Lizzie could say anything more. Her arms were crossed over her chest, her hips burst. Hi, Cliff. Noeline, Zero and I are here too. Good evening. We're sorry for bothering you so late. Hi, Mr. Holden. The gang's all here, huh? Is something the matter? His voice grew a bit concerned. Mommy was quick to reassure him. No, well, yes, but it's going to be okay. Lizzie and Cove got into a bit of a fight today. We were hoping that the two of them could talk and make up. Is it a good time for you and Cove?
What?
A fight? Cove didn't tell me anything about that when he came back home. It does explain the funks he's been in tonight. He chuckled lightly. Despite that, it didn't seem he really thought it was funny. Anyway, it's good. You didn't catch us a bad time. I will grab him from you. There was some shuffling on the other end. He must not have gone far because you could still hear him calling out. Cove, there's something on the phone for you. After a bit of silence, there was more muffled talking from Cove's dad. Come on, bud. Lizzie called just so she could talk to you. It took a bit of back and forth. I did that by mistake, but it took a bit back and forth. The conversation seemed one-sided since you couldn't hear Cove's properly. Eventually, Cove took the phone from his dad.
Hi.
Hello. Hey, it's Lizzie. Yeah, I know, Dad told me. Cove's tone was defensive. Lizzie turned to Mom, scolding. Mom still looked from her door and Lizzie turned away.
Sorry.
I just called to say I'm sorry for not playing nice to you today. I won't do it again. Lizzie's eyes were downcast, her voice low. You could tell she felt uncomfortable apologizing to Cove in front of everyone. She was still being genuine about feeling bad. Cove must have realized that too, because he sighed quietly. I want gold. Lizzie was momentarily stunned silent by the demand. You can't understand why that mattered so much to him. Alright, you win the gold. Okay, I guess I'm sorry too. A sense of relief washed over everyone's at his acceptance of apology. Mom uncrossed her arms while Mommy's shoulders relaxed. Lizzie's eyebrows raised up. You wondered if she thought that he'd refuse her apology. Dad, can I get the phone now? Get off the phone now. You couldn't see him, but it was obvious that Cole felt awkward about the situation. He had come off uncomfortable the entire time, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get back to your room if you want. Be sure to say goodbye first, though. Oh, bye, Lizzie. Bye. With that said, Goff must have handed the phone to his dad and left since Mr. Holden spoke up.
That's a relief.
All's well that ends well, as they said. Time for arranging this. I'm sure he appreciates it. As Mom replied, Lizzie tugged on Mommy's hand to catch her attention. Can I go now too?
Good job.
Sure, sweetie. Thank you very much for apologizing to Cole. Mom flashed a brief smile, and Lizzie nodded her agreement. Given permission to leave, Lizzie scurried off towards the stairs. She seemed to be feeling much better with the incident behind her. Mom and Mommy returned to the phone. Toby went off the speaker. They continued talking to Mr. Holden. You couldn't tell what about. You were glad that was the end of it all. Lizzie and Cove might not get along and probably still won't, but they weren't mad at each other anymore. Mom and Mommy weren't upset either. Everything was fine, back to normal. With that though, you retreated to your own room with spring in your step. Yay, we finally finished this. Oh, I kinda got tired, but I'm glad we finished it, considering that this game is quite long. Double save just to be sure. Next time we're continuing by the end of the summer. Yep. Okay. Just waiting the game to close. Yeah. I'm glad that I saved because it kinda crashed. Okay. Hey! Hi, hello. For the people who are watching us currently. I hope you had a good time. And I hope you enjoy and see a bit of improvement in my narration from time to time. I really hope that everything sounds better with time. I'm trying to get money to buy better mic and then better model and hopefully in several months PC. So yeah, today was kind of eventful day for many VTubers too, so I hope you had a great time watching them too, and don't forget to support them. I'll be happy to see you reply on my Twitter or in my YouTube comments. So yeah, have a nice day.